Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to The Heart of Wrestling, a new series here on the YouTube channel. And folks, I am so delighted. I'm so pleasured and privileged. Look at the name right there, folks. The operative word, heart, deep into the black heart. I am joined by my dear friend, the one and only Crazy Eyes himself, Robert Davis. Roberto, how you doing, buddy?
Hello.
And by my side in a long time, and it's so great to see her face once more, the one and only Nicola McDonald, aka the Demoness. How are you, Nicola?
Hello. Yeah, creepy as always.
Happen any other way. Guys, first and foremost, it's a pleasure that we're going to be doing this once in a while. It's something new to add to the channel here, but I gotta say, and the only way possible that I figure we start off the pilot of this, we talk about the Decay. Yes, that's right. I'm talking about Rosemary. I'm talking about Crazy Steve, and I am talking about the Monster Abyss. Many formations of the Decay, but the Decay from 2016 to 2017. I think the best way to start it off here is first and foremost, guys. Around this time period, Abyss was coming off the run with the Revolution, where he was with James Storm. He was with Mahabali Shira Manic, the former TJP, and so many great stars in there. And then you had Crazy Steve coming off the run with the Menagerie, with Nux, with Rob Terry, the Freak, with just so many incarnations there with Rebel. Like, he came from the circus gimmick, Abyss coming off the Revolution faction, and then the debut of the one and only Courtney Rush's Rosemary. Now, around this particular time period, Courtney Rush was doing her thing in Shimmer, and then once we got the Smash Wrestling, we saw that demon character, Rosemary, come to life in her feud with Cherry Bomb, who would go on to be Allie, who we'll talk about in this show as well. But that first promo, Rosemary comes out in January of 2016, interrupts Davey Richards and Eddie Edwards, the Wolves, comes out and say, hey, riddle me this, riddle me that. In our world, we're all mad here. Decay, decay, decay. So we'll start with the lady here, because Rosemary, I know, was a big influence on you, Miss Nicola McDonald. What were your thoughts when you first saw this character, Rosemary, get on the mic, interrupt the Wolves, and the Decay was born?
She was huge inspiration to me, especially with my character I created after. But when I first saw her, I was generally terrified. I was like, okay, this is someone I can really look at, and I loved the movement, the way she looked, everything about her just jumped to me, and I was like, wow, yeah, you're really, really, really cool. And I loved the whole gimmick, the way she acted, the way she moved. It's just the talking as well. It was amazing. I was like, yeah, she's going to go far. She's going to destroy everybody. So yeah, she was just, I can't explain it. It was just very, I love creepy things, as we know. So she was just a massive inspiration. So yeah, she's wow factor, big time for me. I was obsessed. Literally, I was like, wow. Yeah, I want it to be a hiveling. As soon as, literally, I think I saw it in, and then all of a sudden I was like, that's it. I'm hooked. I like them all. And yeah, she's amazing,
She is.
especially
And
demonic. Well, all ways, but yeah.
okay. And how about you, Robert? The first time you saw it, I mean, we've touched upon this as far. She goes,
Yeah,
and then boom. Like, what were your thoughts about just this transformation that she had from gimmick to gimmick?
it was kind of wild because I had been away from wrestling for a while, for about 10 years or so. And I actually came back to wrestling in about October of 2016. So I was kind of catching up on things. And, my number one, I guess, complaint about, wrestling was like, where's the larger than life characters? Where's the over the top gimmicks? And then I see Rosemary do that promo, and I'm just like, there it is. That's what we needed. That's what I wanted to see. The average wrestling fan probably saw her and went, "Who is this, and why should I care?" I kind of had the opposite approach. I was just kind of like, "Holy shit, who is this, and why do I care?" So that's when I, found out who she was. I started looking back to, things like Shimmer and her feud with Cherry Bomb and kind of the whole Courtney Rush thing and how she started and who she was. And I was just so enamored with learning about her past because I know I was going to be in the present and follow her wherever she went. Kind of like Nicola, she wanted to be a hiveling, like, sign me up. I'm ready to go. Let's do this.
I think what garners the attraction of people, like you so eloquently said there, Robert, the larger than life characters. I mean, we've seen so many beautiful women from your Tories, your Stacys, what people really influence and really rectify with the ruthless aggression era. But then you see someone like a Rosemary or anyone of that stature. We'll get to Jessica Havoc as well because there's a nice tie in here. But what I love about it too, as well, is you need to really amplify yourself, step up the envelope, feel free to think outside the box. And I think this really showcased it. And from her mannerisms, her just overall subtleties, intricacies, and nuances. I love that they went in full throttle here. Abyss adding to it as well because of his tenured career and his character fit. Crazy Steve going away from the circus, like, okay, I'm just this X Division wrestler, but now I'm in this big thing. I think it worked perfectly. And then they go on right after this to feud with the Wolves, right in there, going for the tag titles. They have the match where they lose, but then they get the Monsters Ball matchup as well. I really did like how they just come right in, like set gate here, because if you remember at the time, TNA as it was here. They had the GFW invasion, which was a let's be honest with you guys, it was a hiccup, and then they're gone. And it was a cup of coffee. And then this group comes in to go against the Wolves, and then they finally beat Beer Money in a Valley of Shadows match for the tag titles. Robert Roode was leaving. They said, "Hey, take a thumbtack bump and then go be glorious in Connecticut." And then boom, Decay is the tag team champion. So I wanted to ask you about the rise of Decay winning the tag titles, going from the Wolves and then on to Beer Money, who just reignited at the time. We'll start with you, Nicola, once more. You seeing them just right into the tag team mix and then going right for those TNA World Tag Team titles?
I knew straight away as soon as I saw them all as like the threesome as a group. You knew they were going to go far. They were going to be big. Everything about them, you was like I said earlier, you was glued to. Same as Robert. Sign me up. I'm there. But the way they interacted and the way that they worked together, even with the Wolves, you knew that the Wolves weren't going to get nowhere. You had Crazy Steve and Abyss just appearing and just throwing them against every kind of thing. And the monster balls they did, wow. Especially, obviously, Abyss was known for doing monster balls, but seeing Crazy Steve Rosemary do it as well, wow. Yeah, no, the Wolves had no chance. No chance at all. Because demons always overrule the good guys. Sorry to say that, but it's true. Fact.
It was really cool, just this whole group as a whole. Like,
Mm.
for those of us that are kind of the outcast, the black sheep, like, we found
Yeah.
our group, we had our people finally. Like, these, Rosemary was for that, goth girl in school who's always getting picked on, or pushed to the side, or whatever. Crazy. wasn't
Yeah.
wasn't pointing fingers, but crazy Steve and Abyss. These were the guys like me getting picked on in school, getting made fun of. The guys who were all black, and everybody was like, ooh. This was our group. These were our people, and I'm sure Nicola was probably the same as I was. I'm just like, yes, we finally have somebody for us.
What is it? It was like being the outsiders and then finally not feeling like an outsider, or you didn't feel like you was in the dark anymore, or you should be in the dark, but you was with them. You was a
Yeah.
part of that. But the same as what you said, getting bullied, never getting, all of that stuff. Same thing happened with me. And then when I saw them, I was like, I don't feel like that anymore. I feel like
Mm-mm.
these people represent us in the dark, in like all the black, the same as exactly the same as what Robert said. It was
Yeah.
exactly the same for me
We were home.
as well.
You
We were
know,
home, yeah.
it was such a big catalyst for the group that we created too, the Blackhearts. This was the whole
Mm.
agenda, and I'd be remiss if we didn't go off into a tangent about our group. But you
It's
know,
coming.
the whole catalyst of the Blackhearts was to create a group similar to Decay for those
Yep.
people like us who had nowhere to go. You have a home here.
Yeah.
Don't be remiss at all, first and foremost, guys, and I'll put some of Blackheart footage in this as well. I think what I love about Well, what I love about the two of you two as well, that really coincides with the Decay, like you talk about, like I was around those kids in school as well, the ones that would draw on their hands, they would have the black nail polish, they would wear the goth stuff, they coming straight out of Hot Topic, look like they're going towards the Warp Tour. I see you pointing over there, okay. But the best part about it too is as well, like you talk about there's something for everybody. I think that's what makes wrestling great. That's what makes life great. I think a lot of people really need to expand the horizons, open up their creativity, and I think you get to find a lot of amazing stuff to it. It's the dedication to the craft, but also really the dedication to being yourself, which it may sound very cliche, but that is something that is very apparent in today's society that a lot of people should adhere to. It's just to be yourselves. And if you be yourselves, you gravitate and you really bring everybody in. I think that's what they did. And I would be remiss if I didn't mention this as well, because the year 2016 not only gave us that feud, but it gave us one of the best doggone feuds. One of the craziest feuds out there was the Decay and the Broken Hardys. We have first had Elite or Decay. And I'll tell a funny story about this. So I was working at the time when this episode of Impact came on, and I was on my break, and my mom called me because she knew I wanted to see the match. So I'm like, "Hey, what's going on?" She's like, "Match is on." Earned rubber does not mean warp speed, Lost Boys. So as I was saying, my mom was telling me what was going on with the with the Decay. So she's like, "You're not gonna believe this." So Abyss just went into the water. Now he's back at Joseph Park, and Jeff Hardy and Crazy Steve are in the pool, and then you got Vanguard one. So it was at the time when this was so hot, it was such a peak. But then you watch it and you're just like in awe because Rosemary takes King Maxwell. She gives the mist to Vanguard one, and you see all of them getting involved in it. So I wanted to ask you guys, and Robert, I'll start with you on this one, man. Broken Hardys, hot as hell around this time. The evolution of Hardys into the broken universe, if you will.
My
Yes.
my word. This kind of goes back to what I was talking about earlier about a larger than life character. When I was first coming back to wrestling, I started looking for all the old, the old favorites. So what's Randy Orton up to? What's, John Cena doing? I was just like, yo, what's the Hardy Boys up to? And lo and behold, Matt's broken. And, Jeff's doing Jeff stuff still. And I was just like, oh my God, what the hell is this? This is freaking awesome. I loved every second of the Broken Hearties. And then once they started this whole thing with Decay, I was just like, this is it. Like, this is what I wanted to see at the time, this over the top, larger than life characters doing these completely outlandish things. Like, it was the best. At least I thought it was.
Now, Nicola, the Impact fan that I know that you are for many years, this is what has bonded the two of us for now eternity, as it feels like it's eternity. But you, Miss Nicola McDonald, talk about the fact that we got the Broken Hardys, Queen Rebecca, the Broken Matt, and Brother Nero, and the interaction with Decay. What'd you think?
So when that all first started coming about, obviously I used to use Twitter a lot more, and at the time, Decay actually asked if you was Decay fan or the Broken Hardys to change your filter or your main thing to either Decay or Hardy. So I changed it to Decay, and it stayed that way the whole time. But one, Rosemary should have kidnapped King Maxwell, should have had him. Uh, Watching Crazy Steve regenerate underwater and his face obviously coming back, that was amazing. Everything about that was amazing. And it's really weird because I am Jeff Hardy fan, but when it came to that, I was like, no, sorry, Jeff, you're getting destroyed by these demons. Simple as they are going to rip you apart, and they did. But yeah, I loved every concept of it, like her sneaking through the window and then them fighting and then the fire. But then again, that's normal for the Hardys, isn't it? I suppose with the fireworks and everything. So, but yeah, they were. I love it as well. Abyss was just. It was always something different with them. Like there was always something new, something shocking, or it would just. She was in yellow at that point as well, weren't she? I think she was more like BE kind of at the time,
Right, yeah.
like the yellow eyes and the yellow.
Yep.
See, I even know the costumes. That's thinking I was with that. But yeah, that's when I think that's actually when I bought this t-shirt as well, because I was like, no, I'm massively into that. But yeah, definitely it was fun, very fun watching them try to kidnap Maxwell.
I
She
gotta
should
bring
have got him as well, just to turn him into a demon, just to really annoy Mrs. Hardy or Rebecca Rude, whatever. Yeah,
Rebby, Queen Rebecca. This is why I love you.
Queen.
Queen, Queen. Oh,
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 No,
you done
no.
it.
you done it now.
Done it now. So I love you guys.
I've seen Rosemary after it's fun.
Yes. So
Again.
I have to just say this, and what I love about what you said there is the fact that it was very hard for me, and I equate this too because I'm a big Hardy Boy fan. But when you have something as it's just so different and so great, like we mentioned with the Decay, you have the Great War. at Bound for Glory, where Jeff Hardy's turning into Itchweed and Willow, and he's changing characters, and then they're fighting outside, they're fighting in the back of the pickup truck, and it leads to Brother Nero and the Spot Monkey addiction that he had, and of course the Hardys winning the tag titles, but this also kind of pertains to here. So you have them win the tag titles, Decay are going at him in the total nonstop deletion, all the tag teams, and once we get to 2017, there was an interesting story here, because as we know at the time, the Hardy Boys left the TNA. They went back to the WWE at WrestleMania that year. But there was a little thing where they were on the expedition of gold and going to different territories, different promotions, different indies. They were teleporting. And then, well, the best way to route the Hardys, the Decay, I guess, came back from the teleportation and they held the TNA World Tag Team titles in their hands, in their grasp, which led to what we would see them go against the DCC, which the Death City Council, the Death Crew Council, if you will, James Storm, Bram, and Eddie Kingston before he was in AEW. So I wanted to ask you guys, and Rob, I'll start with you on this. First of all, the DCC, the Death Crew Council with Eddie Kingston, James Storm, and Bram, and then you're getting the influx in here in Decay. What do you think about another tag team really stepping up and into the mix apparently around this time when TNA was kind of morphing into what would become Global Force Wrestling?
Just the whole concept of the DCC and their presentation, I was just like so enamored with that too. I was just like, yeah, this is cool. This is another group that's, kind of mysterious, kind of spooky. You don't really know what's going on until, when they showed up and with the mask and finally, revealed who they were. And it was kind of a shock to actually see who they were because, I kind of didn't really expect that. But, just the whole concept of the group, was really cool to me. And then just the fact that they were going to be, going against Decay, it was just like, oh yeah, this is it. This is gonna smack.
Nicola, I'll ask you as well because this also ties into the fact that Bram was kidnapped when Rosemary was trying to get him into the Decay, and she's talking about the origin story, falling from the tree, doing the spells, hearing the voices, and then poor Bram gets kidnapped, and now he's back as the Death Crew Council with James Storm and Eddie Kingston. And then we got a DK little feud there. What were your thoughts about the introduction of that group and the feud with the Decay?
I did like the fact that you got to see her in human form and see her how she evolved from this is how she was normal, and then all of a sudden she could hear the voices. She was in the tree. She was casting spells, doing whatever she was doing. I did like the fact that she messed with Bram's head in a big way because I actually generally was like, hang on, is she turning on Decay or is she actually like interested in him? And then obviously you saw the outcome when she took him to the hut or whatever, and then
Mm-hmm.
Stephen Abyss come and basically ripped him apart or dragged him out the back window. I loved that concept because she was so convincing that she wanted like him to be part of it, but he was just like, no. But then also they did a whole kiss thing and all of that, and it was just like, whoa, what's going on with that?
Yeah, that was like I kind of had the same reaction. Just kind of like, yo, what's going on here?
So just
Yeah, and then that's
okay.
how it all happened, weren't it? Crazy Steve coming out of nowhere. She's like sitting there looking at him, and she just laughs at him as if to say, "Ha, yeah, you're dead, bye." But
I was
yeah, I did like that whole storyline. That was quite amazing.
I was gonna make a joke and I'm trying not to laugh, but it's got and I'm gonna put this out there. So this was 2 years, folks, after Bram decided, hey, Mickey James, get off the fucking train and get on the train tracks when they were feuding with Magnus around that time. For those remember when Bram just
Yeah, I
figured,
remember that.
oh, Mickey James right off the train tracks. Good time.
Kill, killed
Yeah,
Mickey.
he literally killed Mickey James. Hardcore country, this bitch. Uh,
No wonder Magnus went mad and started chasing him around.
right,
Jeez.
right. Oh, good old Nick Aldis.
And
But
there's us two who'd go, yeah, just leave her on the train tracks. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
Stop, leave him alone. Oh, but I will say this about what we had on here as well with 2016 into 2017. So you also saw the introduction of Reno Scum, and then not only did we see that, but at this particular time we had Crazy Steve departed the company. We saw Abyss and Rosemary go their separate ways. Now, here's one that I have to mention briefly because I remember watching it, Nicola, and I think you can agree with me on this too, as Robert. When Brandy Rhodes and Cody Rhodes were in TNA that short time, and Cody Rhodes was the GFW Next Gen champion, he was just starting up at the Bullet Club in Japan. He was on that Wrestle Kingdom show, and you're doing something with Brandy Rhodes and Cody and Moose, but then Brandy's on the side with Rosemary, and I remember thinking to myself, for the love of God, can we not get a Rosemary Brandy Rhodes feud? And then shortly after, Brandy Rhodes will leave the company. But do you remember that like interaction that they had like very briefly? Because I was like, Jesus, no, don't do this to Rosemary.
Yeah, very, very briefly. I was just like, can we not,
Can we
please?
not? Yeah, exactly, please. But I mean,
Yeah, no, I didn't like that because obviously Decay were known for kidnapping people, such as Gail Kim, kidnapping, obviously. Or I don't know, Brandy Rose was just no. I don't think she really wanted to, and I don't think she would have given it the time of day. To be fair, so I was glad when Brandy went because I thought, no, don't do this to Rosemary. You can do so much better than that.
right? Well, that's the thing at the time too, because Impact was doing a lot of the per appearance deals, and I remember, and I'll mention it briefly because this happened in our Decay timeline here. Like when they went over the UK for Maximum Impact, they brought in Jimmy Havoc for like the short time. Remember, like he had a pass with Rosemary, and then he had the Monsters Ball match with the fists.
And
Like that,
he was trying to get her back or something.
yeah, like that was
He
very
was
big.
madly in love with her, supposedly.
Yeah.
That was the
Right.
story. He came back and he wanted to confiscate her from Crazy Stephen Abyss. And she was just looking at her hand doing the counting thing. And he just appeared. And I was like, who the hell are you? And then I thought, hang on, you're from the UK like me. You're all right.
I was about to say, can we put that on a T-shirt now? Jimmy Havoc, who the hell are you? Just put it on.
All right, I will apologise for that because I didn't actually know very much about him as much as I do now. So, but yeah, it was weird. He came in and was like, "Yeah, I'm madly in love with you," and she was just looking at him. No,
You,
and Steve
you.
just went bye bye,
Nope.
and the piss made sure of it. So yeah,
So, Nicola, I have to ask you, in regards to Jimmy Havoc at that time, were you taking the piss out of Jimmy Havoc? Is that what you were doing? Were you taking the piss out of Jimmy Havoc? Was that what it was, Nicola?
what? Yes, I was taking the piss, but I can.
Fair enough. So, one of the things I do have to mention that I thought was really weird looking at the timeline here. So, when they were the tag team championships, I know we're bouncing around here, but out of all the teams that they could feud with before the Hardys and the face turn, they had a feud with the Bromans, Robbie E, now Robert Stone in the WWE, and Mr. Spectacular
Ugh.
himself, Jesse Goddard. And Raquel was with them. For those that don't know who Raquel was, she was Gabby from Tough Enough. She was on the same Tough Enough as Chelsea Green, Sonya Deville, Mandy Rose, God rest her soul, Sarah Lee, Patrick Clark, who would go on to be the Velveteen Dream. He knows his Miranda rights. So that was around the time period where that girl came in, and she was with the Bromans. So I'll start with Nicola after that reaction of, what were your thoughts on the DK and the Bromans for their first feud with the tag titles, the Bromans, who are now a babyface team?
I was not a fan of the bromance, not in the slightest. So when I saw that, it felt like pointless match to me, if you know what I mean, because they could do like everything they were throwing at them by that point before the Hardys. It was like, why? What's the point in it? Like all they were doing was dancing in the middle of the ring. That's what they were doing. And Decay was like, right, well, we're gonna take you to hell. And it just I no. No. Did not like them one bit.
No
And I
more
was
fist
glad
bump,
when they beat the hell out of them. I was very happy at that.
right?
Then
No
again, if
more.
anyone knows me, I like watching anything involving dodgy matches involving blood and chaos. So yeah, I was
Yeah.
impressed.
Yeah, no more fist bumping for you. So, Robert,
Yeah.
what were your thoughts on the decay of the romance?
I'm gonna be 100% honest. I totally forgot about that until you just said it. Like, I totally forgot the bromans were even a thing. Like, whoa.
They existed, really?
Yeah. Well, that was the thing too. You also have to remember, like in the mid 2000s, what was the big show? Like the Jersey Shore, and that was
Yeah.
Robbie E's gimmick. So, and then you have Jesse Goddard from Big Brother. So, I mean, it was what it was. They tried. I remember also around the time they had the Tribunal. For those that don't know who the Tribunal was, it was Sylvester Lafore and Marcus
Um,
Sweet, who were in the WWE, and then they came in as a Tribunal. They were managed by Al Snow. It was different times with Impact back in 2016, and I mean,
Mm.
that's what we got. I mean, just look at it right now. We have like 2016 and NWA for the anniversary show. It's EC3 going against the guy who was Brodus Clay in WWE, but he was also in TNA, and now he's the champion of NWA. What is his name, Nicola?
His name is Tyrus.
Hell yeah. So on a sidebar question here, since we brought that up, Roberto, since we all check out NWA and see the feelers of it, what do you think is that being the anniversary show that they're doing EC3 and Tyrus for the NWA World Title? Just as a sidebar, what are your thoughts on that? Because it
mm,
touches TNA.
I hope Ethan can control Brodus Clay in
And it's
TNA. You know, Tyrus, control his narrative.
show your narrative, Tyrus. What about
Help,
you?
help us,
Help
please.
us. Please. What do you think, Nicola?
Um, I hope Ethan, sorry, EC3, whatever version. I don't know, it's weird because he used to be his bodyguard, didn't he, in Impact? So
Yes,
it's
yes.
quite. See, I do remember some
Yeah.
things, some things. Um, it'd be nice, I think. Well, EC3 is just going to beat him up, I guess. I think EC3 would beat, as you said, Brodus Clay was called Tyrus, so yeah.
And I will say that Tyrus will be in trouble, 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 trouble. Whoa.
Oh, I remember. Oh, that, yeah.
All right, so back to Decay. We'll talk about music here first. Now that we mentioned music here, the perfect theme song, and the last time we saw a Marilyn Manson song, from my memory, was "This Is the New Shit" for the ECW on Sci-Fi theme in '07. He comes out with "We Are Nobodies," and Marilyn Manson. That theme fits so perfectly with the Decay.
My God, like I remember the Manson album that came out on, and yeah, I think we were in high school at the time. Me and Nicola are the same age, but we're not gonna talk about the ladies' age. We're young.
Thank
But
you.
I just remember listening to that album, just like, damn, this is our song, and then to hear Decay come out to that was just like, yeah, this is our song. This is for us. This is cool.
Nicola, you want to talk about the song? Because Marilyn Manson has put out some bangers, and that is one of the hottest
He
bangers he's.
has. He has. I was a Marilyn Manson fan well before, obviously, Decay, but yeah, we're same as what Robert said. As soon as I heard it, I was like, yeah, that is so them 100%. And every time I heard it, I'd literally start leap like freeze on the spot and then go to glued mode and be like and sing it along. I had it on my phone as a ringtone for like a year, I swear. And I had it on album as CDs and whatever else. Obviously, I know CDs aren't around no more, but I did have it back then.
Telling
But
you,
yeah,
right?
massively. And I know Marilyn Manson was very much into it as well, weren't he?
Oh
I
yeah,
heard that he was very much into the fact that they were using this song and he liked it. So another crazy one, which also love and respect that dude too.
same. I mean, Marilyn Manson has had his history music in professional wrestling. We mentioned ECW on Sci-Fi. This is the new shit. The Beautiful People with SmackDown. Ring of Honor. Christopher Daniels. The Disposable Teams was his theme
Disposable
song.
teams.
Yes. Personal
Mm,
Jesus was the theme song for that guy. A Devil. Yeah, that guy that we really don't like to talk about anymore because he's a dingus. Um,
Wow, I totally forgot about that one.
see, reach out and touch
I
faith, brother.
forgot that one.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was very briefly during Austin Aries' Ring of Honor time in like
Ooh.
2005. Yeah, I
Reach
know.
out and touch me.
Hey, hey, hey. And also, okay, I'm gonna say like a really underrated one that people give crap on, but I like it. Like I enjoyed Soft Cell's Tainted Love, I really do, and I love it. But his version was not bad either. He did a great
That
cover.
that was a banger. I thought the music
See?
video was great.
Yes.
I thought it was better than the original.
All
Much
right.
better than the original.
Fair enough. And that's the thing. A lot of people have criticized over the years, but I am right there with you guys because people hating on Marilyn Manson with Tainted Love. I mean, for God's sake, Korn did Word Up, which was the cover of Cameo's song from the 80s. If Korn
Yeah.
could do some Word Up, why not Marilyn Manson do some Tainted Love?
Yeah. I mean, I thought he did great, and that music video was just, man.
He's friggin'
I
just in the hot tub with all these girls,
Yeah. I mean, is there really to
Every
not like about that?
No, not at all. Mm-mm-mm.
I don't know. Maybe.
agreed. You do what you've got to do.
Yeah, go on and get some. Anyway, I digress.
Exactly.
What we're going on to get some more of is the Decay. So we're in the timeline now where Rosemary, she's doing her thing, man. Like if you remember when she was Knockouts champion, she had great matches with Gail Kim. She had a great feud.
Boy.
Oh, she had a great feud with Jade. Well, we'll talk about these two later.
That was epic.
Mia Yim at her finest here, leaving the dollhouse, the monster's ball, the last knockout standing, the six sides of steel. One of her best feuds in TNA, hands down.
And
And
just the
100%.
fact that even all these years they still call each other blue and red on Twitter. I'm
right,
Yep.
just like, thank you for
yes,
keeping it alive.
continuity, the kayfabe, I love it. But also at the same time here, guys, besides those matches, Rosemary, we have a babyface turn as Allie is getting the crap kicked out of her by Laurel Van Ness and Sienna, the one Allison Kay. Here comes Rosemary. The lights turn off. We think she's going to attack her, but no.
She
The
just
Highling sent there to protect her and Demon Bunny was born. So I want to ask, I'll start with you, Mr. Roberto, on this one. The formation, the coming together of Rosemary and Allie in 2017.
It really just kind of made me look back into their past. That's when I really kind of started to dig deep and find out who Allie was, because she was playing this character, and she was playing it so well. I was just like, I mean, is she really this blonde? Maybe, I don't know. Um, I mean, she's great at what she does, but then the whole demon coming in, and the way she the face turn, and when, like you were talking about, when she attacked Laura Van Ness, and I was just like, yeah, this is cool, right on. I was pretty hooked, and then I think that's when they. Well, I mean, I think they started a little after the web series, the
Demon Bunny
He's
website.
funny all the way,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
I watched the whole series of that.
Yeah, so did I. I
I
thought that was
did.
great. That was great. Like all the versions of Rosemary, watching her giving the backstory to Allie and the bunny, Cherry Bomb, and all that stuff was really cool to kind of watch them bring that to life again.
I think just watching Rosemary try to get on the rides, and she's trying to bring it to the happiest place on earth in Disneyland, and Rosemary's like, no. No, I think,
What was it? Yeah, she took
When
her to the tree of life, and
yes!
Rosemary was like, "Why is there a tree of life? Why is there not a tree of death?" And it was like, "Yeah, I agree with you. Why is there not a tree of death?"
when she's talking to the Cheshire Cat in the Disney shop or whatever, I was just like, yes, this is cool.
She was trying. Well, the Ellie was trying to make her fluffy, and it just, as we call it, we say fluffy, but
Mm.
yeah, like trying to make her all like less evil. But also, it was when she was teaching her how to like about different foods, and Rosemary was just like, "Ew, Swedish fish? No," or whatever it was. It was like learning. It was quite funny to watch them both interact. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you there, Mike. My bad.
No, you first of all, don't apologize. You never have to apologize. It's all good. I'm loving this. Now, we're gonna come back to Demon Bunny here in a sec, folks, but I gotta mention this to you as well. We did around this time period that I love so much, we did have a subtlety, intricacy, and nuance of a small Decay reunion. Because if you remember, Grado at Cesaro, and Joseph Park, he needed to stay in the country, man. He needed to stay in the States. He needed the passport. He needed a wife, is what he needed. And then here comes Laurel Van Ness, but it's like, and the joke throughout the entire storyline was like, does he know that she's Canadian? Like she's Canadian. So they get married. Grado gets deported. He's trying to stay in the country. Joseph Park is partying. The first time that they make the Joseph Park character a heel, I mean, it all comes down to booze and women. Love, drugs, and rock and roll. And here comes Joseph Park. And then he has the match with Grado in the Monsters Ball Bound for Glory that year. And Rosemary appears after Laurel Van Ness comes in, gives the old unprettier to Grado. We have a moment. She missed Laurel Van Ness. And then, unfortunately, she's blinded with the miss with Abyss. Abyss choke slams her on thumbtacks. And that was the brief Decay reunion. I'm going to start with you, Nicola. Abyss, Rosemary in that matchup with Grado, the Monsters Ball, the brief Decay reunion. What were your thoughts?
I was excited because I actually thought that, oh yeah, if he like them two being back together, does that mean like there's a possibility that Steve will be brought back in again to make it the trio? But um, it was weird because I think he was blinded, weren't he? He grabbed her by the throat and he put her through to tax whatever. And I did sit there thinking, oh no, because she gets back up, she's going to murder you. So, but yeah, it kind of. I liked it. I was hoping it was going to carry on and like bring it back again, but obviously, yeah, it was amazing. I loved every minute of it, and obviously, I loved watching Lauren Van Ness getting thrown around as well. That was always entertaining, especially when it comes to Rosemary.
It's
And
always
was
great
right.
to
Well, she's
watch her to get thrown around.
yeah, of course it does. Of course it is.
Well, I will say this first and foremost. If there's anyone who could portray a bridezilla with such one of the most disgustingest dress ever, ever,
Oh,
and
that was hideous.
it
There was
was
just
great though.
everything on it.
It
The
worked.
champagne bottle.
Oh,
Mm.
good lord. Now, Roberto, what were your thoughts around this time of the brief Decay reunion of Biss and Greta, Laurel Van Ness? They were married. Now she breaks up. And here's the thing about it that I loved also the subtlety here is like when Laurel Van Ness, when she's happy with Grado, she looks actually good. There's no fakakid here. She doesn't look like a hot mess. She actually looks good. And then after everything happened, she doesn't look good. But here, what were your thoughts about this, Robert Davis, and this
I
stuff?
I was screaming at the TV. I'm just like, you're right there. The whole time when Decay kind of disbanded and was, not there anymore, it was always kind of my hope that, like, oh, you bring this back, bring this back, bring this group back, please. And then that was the closest we got until, a couple years down the road. And I was just like, ugh. All right, if that's what we get, that's what we got. Mm.
I think what I love about it too is as well because this is where we kind of see the end towards Abyss here. I mean, he would make sporadic appearances, but Abyss was pretty much done after that. We had the Hall of Fame speech, and I'm going to say this right now. What I also loved about the Decay, Abyss was unmasked, and he was beautiful with all the makeup on. I thought that added a nice little touch to it too. But for me, and I'm going to ask you both, and Nico, I'll start with you on this one. This particular group, I mean, we've seen Abyss from the early stages with Father James Mitchell and all the different renditions of that. We've seen him with so many people from Matt Morgan and tag teams and single stars, what have you. But this I have to say this group rejuvenated and revitalized Abyss from where he was at this time coming off the Revolution. I think you can agree with me on that.
Oh yeah, 100%. Because he'd always been masked. Abyss was known for being masked, and then when that became Decay, she like did the spell or whatever and removed the mask, and he did become beautiful, as she put it. But it was nice because he was finally masked. He spent all them years hidden behind it because that's how it was, and then Decay comes in and he's running around about the masking. Oh, brilliant! I loved every minute of it.
Yeah, kind of the same. Like from where he was before the group and when he joined the group, it was just like it kind of revitalized his time and what he was doing at the time. So I mean, I thought him being a part of this group was great, and it did wonders for him.
So
It
while the
did. It was sad. It
it
was sad when
was
he left. I was
it was
gutted when he left.
Yeah, because he was one of the last TNA originals left, like from that
Yeah.
time period. He was there since '02, but I think with him now, and obviously he's doing producer work now for WWE. Dude's got a mind. You know what I'm saying? He knows about the big man chemistry and psychology. And I'll be honest, I popped during the pandemic era when I saw him as Joseph Park, the statistician with AJ Styles. Like I'm like that popped me just because of them being a tag team in their feud in TNA. Like the fact that we got Joseph Park at least once made me happy. We got some rendition of that of this character. You know.
It's like, oh, Statman, huh? Huh? You think you're Statman? Okay.
Gimmick and
Okay.
Fringe.
There's only one. There's only one Batman.
Okay,
Yes.
Joseph. Okay, Joseph Park. I see you.
Gimmick infringement, brother. Gimmick infringement. If Hulk Hogan can come after you because he has owns the trademark to brother, I think that you have a case there, Robert, with the statistician, stat man, not a scat man over here. So
Maybe I should go find a lawyer.
you should.
Be
Anyway,
careful, he might turn into Ethan Page. Didn't he play Josie Park's nephew
this
for years?
they're back with the cousin. Oh my God, Chandler Park. Hello. This one taking a throwback with
No,
all ego Ethan Page. All right. Oh man, I
no good.
forgot.
I know.
I
See,
I
I
forgot.
say I'm no good with wrestling knowledge, but
I
I
forgot
don't have
about that too.
some.
Wow.
Oh God, he was the friggin' dorky ass cousin. For those who don't remember, there was a brief time where it was still Park, Park, and Park, but then it was Park, Park, and Park, Park because they brought in Ethan Page as Chandler Park. Before we all know him now with all ego when he was with the North and what he's doing now in AEW. Throwback, man, with the Chandler Park. I like your style, Nicola McDonald. Hello. Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Just bringing it back. Throwback, nostalgia. Hell yes. Okay. So
Not bad for my memory at of 3:30 in the morning. Not be too bad.
Not too bad at all. Not too bad at all. Okay, so we'll get now into what a lot of people want to hear us talk about is more Demon Bunny, but not just Demon Bunny. We get to the Undead Realm, folks, because Sue Young comes in like a bat out of hell, takes over everything. She's facing Rosemary. She's got the Undead Brides. She's taking her. She's going down here. We'll get into Kiera Hogan and the exit of that in a second. But when this whole thing came together, the Undead Realm, the whole sci-fi, the whole everything that went into it was awesome. What were your initial thoughts? And I'll start with you this time, Roberto. The Undead Realm's coming here. Rosemary, she's coming back. She's going after Sue Young, after Allie and the vengefulness. Oh, you start with the Undead Realm part. What do you think about that?
I it's funny because people, people would shit on Impact and Impact, and they were doing all this cool stuff with like the Undead Realm and everything else they had going on. I'm just like, screw you guys, this is cool. Su Young is an amazing character.
So I have a question for you before you speak. When you said "screw you guys," is that like "screw you guys, I'm going home"? Is that the new "screw you guys, I'm going home" like South Park? Is that what that was?
That's
Did you just turn to Cartman for a smidge there, Mister Robert Davis?
that's exactly what it was. Screw you guys, I'm going home.
Exactly, ma'am. So screw you guys, I'm going home. And a lot of people, yes, screw you, ma'am. Okay. So what I loved about it too as well, I love you guys. The Undead Realm brought us another layer to the Rosemary character, and of course, having Father James Mitchell on your television as well is not a bad thing either. So you saw this, Nicola, Rosemary coming back, avenging Sue Young and Allie, and then the bunny. And the bunny, Allie gets stuck down there. She becomes the eventually demon bunny, if you will, like we've talked about. Just the darkness overcoming and succumbing Allie. What were your thoughts on the initial process of this layer and to the Rosemary story, and then what would become the demon bunny story?
I loved it. I loved the whole, like what Robert was saying a minute ago, that people are, oh, we don't like it. I love every aspect. I love the Father James stuff. I liked the fact that I think when Rosemary came back, she'd been injured, hadn't she, or something? So
Yes,
then she jumped out of the coffin, and then Ali had already been taken over, and she was trying to then pursue her to convince her to come back to being the demon bunny or come back to being Ellie. I liked the whole thing because at the time, uh, because obviously I love Sue Young as well. She's another big part of craziness. So yeah, she's my favourite character of mine. But yeah, I loved the whole thing. It was amazing. Obviously, Rosemary came back at that point, but obviously, Undead Realms, Hell. Well, Father James is related to the Satan, isn't he? So that's the other part as well. Coming out, the Rosemary was actually Satan's daughter.
That's when Rosemary came back from the knee injury, wasn't it?
yes.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
was the,
yeah.
that was yeah that was a pretty serious one too.
She was out for 6 months. And I think she mentioned it in that thing on Impact that was for a couple of months ago. And yeah, then they brought her back. She just jumped out of that coffin and scared the hell out of basically all the dead brides and Sue Young, which was very cool as a comeback. I was like, oh, like at my TV going, yeah, there's our girl, or Hi Mother, as we were calling her by that point, and still do to this day.
Absolutely. That whole story was just cool. I mean, it's something
Well,
that had you hooked. I remember just kind of watching clips on YouTube or actually watching the show and just like I was stuck, as I think
yep,
most of us were. Just they told such a good story. Rosemary was trying to tell her, "Don't do it, don't do it, don't do it," and Bunny be Bunny, I'm gonna do it, and she went and did it.
it was sad how it ended with Bunny though, and I wouldn't lie, I did actually sit there thinking, this is not good. But it was
Mm-mm.
really amazing to watch. In the other side of it was, oh no, what? I don't like that part, like the how it ended with Ellie. But
And
it opened the door for other demons and other. Well, they went undead realm quite a few times in the end, didn't they?
Oh
So
yeah.
yeah,
they did.
Oh, oh hell yeah, they did. I mean, with what you got to see with that, and then everybody just heartbroken because of what happened to Allie at the end, and just the killing off of Allie, so to speak. And I wanted to add up to a point that you guys made. A lot of people see this, and I mean, people view wrestling in so many different ways. But for me, I like stuff like that. Like when everybody poo-pooed on during the pandemic era, everybody hated Bray Wyatt and John Cena, and it's like it's a mind fuck. It's trippy and it works. Same with the Undertaker and AJ Styles in the Boneyard. And what we saw in Impact at the time with the start of the deletion, the final deletion, and the ultimate deletion, and stuff like this. You need a lot of this stuff, and I mean, we saw a lot of it in Lucha Underground as well. It adds like more pizzazz, and it adds more of like really what we get to see in professional wrestling. So I'm going to say right now, probably one of the best storylines as far as the women go, and everything that goes into the knockouts there. Like we mentioned, we saw the branching off really of what we would see with Havoc, who now we have Courtney Rush And we have Jessica as the Death Dolls. Yeah, woo. Like, I love that extension because I also equate it to like Sue Young has that extension of where she's Susie or and where she's Sue Young or where she's Susan. Like, I love how they can just divert at each and every one of the characters. And I think everything has a different say and different, extension of what they are,
Sue Young, Susan, Susie, my God, just those are three such dynamic characters, and she's able to pull them all off pretty flawlessly. When she hit that line as Susan, professional wrestle me now, I was just like,
I'm gonna clap it up with you, man, because that was really
yes,
beautiful.
that was the line of the year for me. I mean, as far as I was concerned. But.
So it reminded me of, and I'm going to take everybody back with this one. First of all, God rest her soul. Daphne has a lot of the vibes that we see, a big influence.
Legend.
Legend.
Scream Queen.
Yes, when
You
Daphne
know.
was, yes, when she was the governor with the beautiful people, and she dressed like Sarah Palin, and she did that impression so well. It was funny. I equated to what the Susan, like very Karen-esque character was supposed to be. It gave me a throwback to '08 when Daphne was the governor, before she was crazy and doing like the matches with Taylor Wilde and the Monsters Ball and stuff. Like when she was the governor for that short time. Oh, it was hilarious. Like
That
I
was
said, we gotta
good
watch it.
times. Great times.
Great times, man. Oh, see, it's characters, baby. But no, I think like we talk about the undead realm, and we talk about every different extension here. A lot of the great extensions that we see here, guys, like the Decay, the original was pretty much dead by this point. Everything was gone, but the memories are still there. You know what I'm saying? Just so many great memories and moments yet to be created, and we're already had. But god dang it, man! Then we have this new extension with Rosemary and Crazy Steve comes back, and I know Black Taurus from AAA was in there as well. Rosemary and Crazy Steve had a great feud with Tennille Dashwood and Caleb with a K, the one and only Caleb Conley. I wanted to ask you guys the extension first of Rosemary, Crazy Steve, and now Black Taurus. What did you think of kind of like a Decay 2.0 at that time? And I'll start with you on this one, Nicola.
I liked the idea. I think I was just more excited to see Crazy Steve, and this is nothing against anyone, but when them two first came back, I was like jumping around like a crazy person. Yes, finally, Decay's back. That's all, both back. And then when he came into it, I was like, yeah, I like it. So I like the dynamic. It was all still dark. It was still, but in my mind, because it wasn't Abyss, it made it hard for me for a while to accept it. Didn't the end? I was like, these three are amazing too. Doesn't matter who's in Decay, they always make it work between the three of them. So, or Rosemary and Steve seem to make it that they can bring in anyone into it, and they just like flourish. There we go. That's a nice word. I don't
You
use that word normally.
do you
Yeah.
remember when they were in that damn house together when Crazy Steve first came back? What was that?
Oh my! It was like a big
Legends
was it?
house.
It
That's
was
I
like
think
Big
that's
Brother, but for wrestling.
yeah. That's when
Uh,
that's I think that's when Steve first came back, and Rosemary was in the house too. And I remember watching that. I was just like, "Come on, you're
yeah.
right there."
And why was Rosemary getting married? That was the other part that I
Oh, with
couldn't get in that
Johnny
flipping
Bravo.
house.
Well,
She was
Johnny
with
was Johnny was it Johnny
Johnny
Swift?
Bravo. Johnny
Johnny
Bravo.
Bravo. John Bravo. That's right.
Bravo.
That's right.
I looked at that and was like, Rosemary, seriously, just. But then they poisoned him, so it was all good. I was happy about that. I was like, yes, you go, girlfriend.
Yeah, I mean, someone died, so that was a win.
Obviously, of course. Okay, someone's dying, or is that just us?
That's just us.
Either way, that's just us. That's
But just the whole time they were in the house, and I remember I had to watch every single damn week, just because I wanted that interaction. I'm like, you're right freaking there. And when we finally got it, I was just like, thank you.
yeah, same.
I'll add on to that with, you guys are dead. I'll just say, hey, demons, it's me, yeah, boy. And I'll also add on to that with the Legends House, if you will. I mean, like you mentioned, the whole thing besides Rosemary and Johnny Bravo was, are we even going to mention the fact that Rosemary and Crazy Steve are even in there when they finally do? It was fun. Like, they brought a nice little, a lot of people were kind of like, with it, but I'm like, this is what it's supposed to be. It's fun. And it also equates to what we see in popular culture with reality television. Like, I like that. Some of the silly stuff really gets over. And I mean, the death dolls that they're doing now. And I'm going to tell you straight up and down, like 6 o'clock. I like the fact that Well, with Taya Valkyrie, that feud there, and she wasn't really a part of the Decay, but they kind of associated with her. Like the extension of the Rosemary Taya feud, and then they become the tag team champions, and then they're all like chilling like villains, and it also adds that layer of like Hollywood Boulevard meets like the undead realm, demon realm. You know what I'm saying? This was bright-eyed, bushy-tailed blonde girl, very spoiled, gets her nails done, manicure, petties up in here like it's Clueless, Alicia Silverstone people, and then you get Rosemary on the side. So I'll start with you, Robert, on this. The overall extension of Taya Valkyrie from enemy to tag team partner with Rosemary, then winning the tag titles. What were your thoughts on the Taya Valkyrie edition?
I think Taya is low key one of us. I mean, she may not have it on the outside, but she's definitely got it in the inside. Taya is always somebody that I've liked, regardless of where she's been and what she's done. I mean, we won't get into Frankie Monet, but that's another story for another time.
Okay.
But I think just the dynamic that they created, going from enemy to friend to, tag team partner, I thought that was really cool. But like I said, Taya is somebody I think, may not show it on the outside, but I think definitely on the inside, she's one of us. One of us. One of us.
Nicola, your thoughts on the addition of Taya Valkyrie, La Huera Loca?
I've always liked her, no matter what she's done. She's very, very creative, very funky. Best way to put that. She's like very, yeah. She should have been a member. Yeah, she's got darkness to her. I think she just needed Rosemary and others to kind of let it out. But it was never the darker side of her. Was never really, or evil side of her wasn't really let out. Like in that house where she was walking around with a dog all the time. That was like, what? But yeah, I do absolutely love her to pieces. But I would have liked to see what it'd be like with her full demoned up. That would have been quite a. Plus, her and Rosemary had some amazing matches as well.
Yeah, they did.
Very
Oh
amazing.
man.
What was the one where she leapt? Rosemary leapt. It might have been Rosemary, or it might have been Tyra. They leapt off the top of like this massive. Uh, it was a very tall block, and she just jumped and leapt off, and it's actually landed straight on her. I can't remember what it was called though.
Oh, was that around like Full Metal Mayhem and around the stuff like that? I think something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, they were backstage, and she just leapt off, and it was like, holy crap, what are
Yep.
you doing? But yeah, yeah, I like the Ice Queen. That's what she called her as well, wasn't it? The Ice
That's the
Queen.
ice. Now, I got to follow up with this, Nicola, because I know you and I know your history with Impact. So I got to ask you now, since she's on AEW and a certain someone of hers is on AEW now, how about Johnny TV, man? Former Johnny Mundo, Johnny Impact, Johnny TV, huh? Huh, Nicola?
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. No,
Ew.
no, just no, and hell no.
Robert, you want to comment on Johnny TV now? Out of all the names, Johnny TV now. Go ahead.
He's gonna say same as me. He's gonna go no.
Ah,
There you go.
oh man.
What a way
Of,
to make your debut with QT Marshall.
of all the things, brother, you could have done, they had you do that.
Johnny TV, baby. Johnny TV.
I,
No.
So,
if there's somebody who's good at turning chicken shit into chicken salad, it's Johnny, whatever his name is.
yeah, I agreed. It kind of reminds me of all right, I'm gonna make a reference here. I'm gonna make an old movie reference. It's like Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory when he was Mike TV and he was about everything with the TV and he wouldn't just shut up. That's what I equate Johnny TV. He's like Mike TV now. That's what he is. That's what he is. There's a Willy Wonka reference for people who want to go back and watch Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory and have some pure imagination. I'm a dork, I know.
I think he's Johnny Game Changer tonight. Actually, I think he's wrestling GCW tonight. Actually,
Okay. First of all, love that. Do you actually remember? And again, off topic, but so when he first came onto the main roster, like even before, like we knew him as Johnny Nitro with Eminem and then John Morrison and all that. Like his first real name on the main roster when he was in Eric Bischoff as assistant, the name Johnny Spade, and then they changed it to Johnny Nitro because Eric Bischoff Monday Nitro, haha. But his
Johnny Spade.
Johnny Spade,
Holy crap!
yes. Johnny Spade, folks. Taking it back to '04, which I can't believe already. It's almost 20 years. Anyway,
20 years.
20 years. I digress. But as we keep on going into our Tale of Decay here, that's a beautiful name for this, the Tale of Decay. I think as we even put a bow on this, because we are coming towards the end of our Decay timeline here, folks. If I was to say a perfect faction and impact for the short time that it was with the three originals from 2016 to 2017 to what we have now with Rosemary and Havoc as the Death Dolls and the storyline they're doing, like Courtney Rush is speaking for Rosemary, Jessica is speaking for Havoc. I think Havoc being just that dominant force that she was, because her original run in 2014 when she was a Knockouts champion, meh. But then when they brought her back, like, I mean, it speaks for itself. I think what we have right now is just some great storytelling, but also at the same time, if you look at Decay, one of the best doggone groups in Impact Wrestling for factions.
Absolutely, 100%. And I know
Yeah.
we didn't really touch on it, but the documentary that Impact had put out about Rosemary, this whole behind the character thing, and kind of pulling the veil back and kind of seeing the person behind the character for the first time. Rosemary is one of those characters that no matter where she went, she was always in character, no matter what. And just to kind of get a glimpse of the person behind the character was just like, man. I know me and Nicola talked about it a bit, and we're just like, yeah. As both of us have played dark character. Well, I mean, we still play dark characters. I mean, we're not really playing; it's who we are. But somebody who
100%.
somebody who kind of understands us and the mindset that we have to get into to play these dark characters. It's tough. Sometimes it does take a toll on you. Sometimes it does wear you down to kind of get into that headspace. And I know it's not something that me or Nicola have talked about publicly, because we do keep our demon characters pretty close to our chest too. But for the both of us, it was just like somebody else understands. Somebody else actually gets it.
100%. Like she said it herself in the in that what you're in that documentary, what it was, and she said that the minute you take the makeup off, that's when Rosemary goes to sleep. So in my case, and with Roberts as well, the minute you have to put yourself into a very dark space, you have to then go with what you're saying, and then obviously when the makeup's on, you are 100% that demon, no matter what. And then you take the makeup off, the demon goes to sleep. And it is tough because you have to go through a lot of different emotions in your head, because you're convincing yourself that this is what you're saying, you mean, you're gonna do. It it is very and obviously me and you have talked about this many times, because we've both been in that kind of, obviously our characters are very dark. But I do understand exactly what Rosemary was saying. And it is nice the fact that we can understand where she's coming from, because we've been there and done it. Okay, we're not wrestling, but to get into that character, it can mess with you in big ways. Like I said, I've cursed people and done silly things, and now the lights flicker. But I'm used to that. That's just the demoness telling me, or maybe, whoever else it is. But yeah, I'm used to that now. Like I said, I played this. We've been playing this for a long time. I think
Some
now, as you
some
reminded me earlier, Mike.
some years now.
Oh yeah. All right.
It's
Well,
4 years, isn't it? Since,
yes.
yeah,
I'm
I know
actually
what's
glad you
coming.
brought I'm glad you brought this up because first of all, I'm actually glad you brought the documentary because you guys were actually the ones behind this because you were telling me how good it was. I'm like, God dang it, I gotta watch this.
Mm.
And I'll get my thoughts in a second. But yo, this one over here, by the time of this recording, folks, 4 years of the Demoness. First of all, we're gonna do another clap. Rock, give it up. Give it up. 4 years, baby. 4 years.
Thank you. Also, if you hadn't noticed, I'm actually half wearing a demoness's costume right now because the hoodie's there. Hang on, you'll make it more better that way. There we
There.
go.
It's just
All right now.
it's just missing the paint now.
Just missing the
Um,
paint.
that's hidden for later. Don't you worry.
All right. So I will talk about
And
this.
thank you for that
Oh,
as
you're so
well. I appreciate that.
You are so welcome. So, the Diary series, which I'm going to say right now, Impact has done a lot of great ones on the YouTube channel. There was one with Giselle Shaw that was really, really good. They did one with Josh Alexander coming back from the injury. But this one with Rosemary, man, like they showed her training with Scott D'Amore at the Can Am, and we got to see really her early stages. And this goes to with a lot of stuff in wrestling, like injuries. It doesn't matter when you get injured, how long it takes. It still takes a toll on you, and you can tell, like from 2019, it does lose someone's confidence. You may have a lost step, but with her, I think like the amount of time that she took, and even still continuing, even the simplest of moves, which led to her injury. I like the fact that she never stopped. She just kept going, and you could see her confidence really shining through again. And I think what's great about it too is as well, we talk about the outcast side of things. We just talk about her being her. And I think the best part about it too, that's very gratifying, is just you can touch people's hearts with just your characters and just in everything. And I think that's what life in itself and wrestling is about, is evoking emotions and eliciting a reaction. So I really loved it from top to bottom. If you guys have not seen it, it's 20 plus minutes, but it's a good 20 minutes of just Rosemary opening up. Check out the YouTube for Impact Wrestling. So that's my thoughts. I
That's
really
the
like
that's the first time I've heard her swear as well, because obviously she was in character,
a lot
Right.
and
of
when she was talking about like how it messed with her, the fact that she was like injured and everything. That's when they took on the Demon Bunny series, and that's what kept her mentally, physically going.
yep.
And yeah, it just blew my mind, because you understand exactly where she's coming from. She couldn't wrestle, she couldn't, so they kept, that's what, but she said it did mess with her a lot. And that was the first time I'd ever heard her swear, or sorry, Rosemary swear.
Yeah.
I've heard Courtney Rush swear, but I've never heard Rosemary swear. So I was like, wait, what? You go, girlfriend. I like it. Yeah. But then I also made that mistake of never swearing as a demoness. So yeah, I did get that from her too, in a way.
Whoops.
Like I swear like a trooper, as we all know. I don't, oh yeah, I better not do that.
Yeah, at least not yet. Don't do it. Not now. At least not yet. At least not yet.
I haven't. I've got a voice in my head that's going, no, don't swear. Just
No.
don't.
No, no, hell no, no,
No.
no,
No.
No.
no. So, so I will say this. First of all, a lot of F bombs dropped. If you guys want to see a lot of F bombs being dropped by the one and only Courtney Rush Rosemary, it's a trip, man. But I think I like that they're doing that now because it gives you a toll into it. I mean, WWE has done it with like the story of that they've done on their series, but I think it's nice to see Impact doing it. And I think I like the fact that them being open, honest, and candid about it really goes into it. So I got to say, guys, that was a great recommendation. Thank you guys for recommending that to me. And I think a lot of people should. And the link will be in the description of this episode as we wind down here. But guys, I got to say first and foremost, I'm so glad because we've been talking about doing a show for years that we are finally doing this. And folks, we will be doing this ever so often. We'll discuss topics, discuss wrestling, what have you. But I will say this. Life is an art form. We're all applying our crafts. Continue to apply your craft in amazing fashion and support professional wrestling. Not just don't be the tribalism. Just enjoy professional wrestling. Support it. Support the indies. Support your companies, and just let it ride and let it be your escape and enjoy it because it's the best dog thing going. So love it. Now, before we close this out, Blackheart's dynamic duo over here. Reunite, mount up, regulate like your Warren G. There's a West Side reference for you there. Robert Davis in California, Death Row, baby. Dog Pound, I digress. Robert Davis, you were doing your thing, my friend. TSK is the Too Sweet Click. You're doing your thing. Promote where we can follow that, and please promote your Twitter and your Instagram, Mr. Robert Davis. The floor is yours.
Hey, so we got another podcast that we do called Kicking It with the TSK. You can find that on the Max Wrestling YouTube. I think the website is Max Wrestling Weebly. Is it, Mike? I don't even know.
Weebly.com.
Yeah, so go check us out there. We've got some episodes up. We're going to be working on a Wembley show for All In predictions, things of that nature. Wait for that to drop soon. You can find all of my social media, linktree / hey, it's Rob. You'll find my Instagram, my Facebook, my Twitter, or X, whatever it's called now. It's all on there. We've got a lot going on. So come say hi.
Nicola MacDonald, it's been a while since we did this, but girlfriend, my love, please tell us where we can find you on Twitter and Instagram, Demoness. Go right ahead.
Okay, so I don't remember my Instagram, because clearly I've never been really good with that anyway. I did have it under, oh hang on, no, Demoness there. If you want to follow the Demoness there on Instagram. If you want to follow me and the Demoness on Facebook, it's Nick Mac now. And Twitter, I think, is the Demon Nick Mac 853. What have I got going on right? Check me out. First time I've not had to ask you, hey? After all these years, I learned it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
There
yeah,
you go. Yeah.
yeah.
What am I doing right now? Not a lot, to be
Okay.
fair. I will let you all know if something comes up. But for now, I'm just annoying these two on a daily basis.
It's a beautiful
Really.
thing. We wouldn't have it any
Absolutely.
other way. We would not have it
I know these two are family in a major way all the time. And Robert did mention this on the last podcast as well that he did with you about how when I first started, I spoke to him for 3 weeks and he was worried about mentioning it. He actually said, "Oh, whatever, don't matter. She won't kill me, whatever." No, it's true. I spoke to everyone as a demoness, barring Mike. For 3 weeks, I kept talking in character, and then in the end, I'd actually turn around and went, "Can we talk normally now, so we could be Nick and Rob, not even?" Yeah, but yeah, facts. So yeah, you're fine. Thank you for bringing that up as well. But
Okay.
yeah, I'm not doing anything majorly right now. Nothing to report.
Fair enough, but I will say this, probably one of the best ways of keeping kayfabe alive in our little world there for 3 weeks, just talking in character. I love that. But if you want to check out some badass promo exhibitions and contests, these two over here from Promo Climax and from Podcast Promo Rumble, links will be in the description. You'll probably see some footage here in today's show, folks. But yeah, check them out, follow them, because you should, because they're awesome, and y'all do your damn thing, and I love you to death. And if you want to check out what Nicola mentioned here, Robert Davis on the LFC podcast, Beauty, Strength, and Dominance, we talked about Robert being a girl dad. We talked about the fact that he is simping. I'm going to say it right now, Robert. I'm going to call you out. You're simping for Gemma, Jersey Babe Juliana and her bout against Vita Von Star. You're simping like you can't simp no more. That's what you're doing. That's right. I'm talking to you, Robert Davis. Simping
All day, every
every
day.
day. Yes.
Yay, yay.
Yay, yay. So if you want to check that out, go to the YouTube channel. Check out all the On the Mic with Mike pop culture shows. Check out my boy DC and I, Daniel Crimmins, also representing the Too Sweet Click on Uncaged. Check out my boy Danny Harrow and I for all things pro wrestling. We got a former WWE and ROH superstar coming onto the show very soon. Who will it be? You'll find out next week. Folks, give a subscribe, like it up, subscribe to this channel, give this show a like, and support my people and support professional wrestling. Apply the craft, do the damn thing. And all I got to say is this: we out. Thank you for listening. We'll see you in the next episode.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye.